Today, we're going to be checking out a brand new pedal from a brand new company, the Superdrive from Audio Audio. So this is cool. Always love trying out new stuff and new companies and supporting small companies. So the Superdrive, of course, is an overdrive like it sounds, but it does a lot more than that. It can actually go into distortion and basically into full-on fuzz. Has a ton of different options. So to make sure I actually don't forget all of those options, I have the manual here. So let's take a look. So of course, with the power supply, you can connect 9 to 18 volts up to it. 18 volts gets you more headroom. Of course, some of the stuff is self-explanatory. You have the level control, the gain control, how loud it is, how much distortion you have. And then there's also a presence control that kind of just controls how bright or dark the pedal is overall, which I think is a nice touch. Kind of helps you dial it into more clean channels or more amps or whatever you're using it for. Then you have a bass, middle, and treble control, so you can further dial in the EQ and how this thing sounds and responds to you. And then there's a handful of different switches for like clipping options and stuff. And this was the main reason that I needed the manual. So there was a mode switch that switches between a clean boost, adds volume without distortion, hard clipping, which provides a more aggressive distorted tone, and soft clipping, which is a smoother, more natural overdrive. Then you can switch between clipping diodes for germanium, which is a more smooth, warm clipping, MOSFET, which provides what they say is a tube-like distortion, and red LEDs, which is a much more aggressive and crunchy clipping. And then there's 3 different gain stages. So there's low, medium, and high. So essentially you can go from less gain, more gain, and then the max gain will push out. And you'll hear when I demo it that this thing can absolutely push out a lot of gain. Like I said, this thing will border on fuzz territory if you want. So it's pretty versatile as an overdrive, which I think is cool. So those are all the features. Let's actually hear this thing. So I'm going to be plugging for the in-mix. I'm going to be using this just as an overdrive to slam the front end of my BE50 Deluxe, going into the BE channel, some crunch, and then having this just send it into full, absolutely aggressive metal overdrive, because it is an overdrive first and foremost. And on this channel, we like to boost stuff with overdrives. And then we'll hear it out of a mix on that same setup. And then we'll also go to the clean channel, also on my Friedman. And we will hear this thing just as an overdrive going into a distortion and getting into that kind of fuzzy territory. You'll be able to hear more of what's going on with the different clipping options and such, and the presence control when it's being used as like a proper distortion and overdrive versus when it's just boosting. I'm going to be plugging into this with my Fujigen Neoclassic, which has the Bill Kelleher Mojo Tone Hellbender pickups in it. Like I said, it's going to go into the BE50 with the pedal, and then that's all going to be going into my Two Notes Captor X, which has an IR blend of my DV77 and VM1265 IR. Let's check it out. Definitely hits the BE channel of my Friedman great. Gets into real just aggressive, thrashy, almost death metal-y kind of territory with it. Makes it pretty aggressive, and it can get pretty tight and do the metal thing, especially when you really turn up that mid control. I think it's great you can turn up the mids and turn down the treble, so it doesn't get all ice picky and pick attacky, but it just gets that kind of really sharp, thrashy, I almost feel like Gary Holt kind of thing that I like when you palm mute and everything kind of cuts, and it has that really like just sharp mid range and tight low end. I think that's awesome. As for it being used as a regular overdrive, distortion, almost fuzz on the clean channel, so the distortion isn't my kind of distortion. It's a little full and woolly. I do feel like it's almost orange-like orange amplifier distortion. And if you hit this with an overdrive, funny enough, then you can get some really aggressive metal tones out of it. But if you're just looking for something that you can use as a boost or a nice sounding overdrive, or even go into some cool distortion for like, you know, grunge stuff or like old punk or even some noise rock, and then even send it into fuzz territory, this thing has a ton of different options for a bunch of different sounds, and it'll really get you there. But I'd like to know your thoughts on this. Put them in the comments down below. I will link over to Audio if you want to check out this or anything else they're working on. Thanks for watching. Stay metal.